So continuing our discussion about the turbah and praying on the turbah, is it a sunnah or is it a bid'ah? Should we prostrate on something called the turbah, the clay tablets, the stones, the pebbles, the gravel? And we mentioned the Sihah books, we mentioned Ibn Qayyim al-Jawzi, we mentioned the book of Ibn Taymiyyah, his book Majmu' Fatawa. Today I would like to mention another book called Minhaj Sunnah al-Nabawiyya, verified by Dr. Muhammad Rashad Salim. Minhaj Sunnah al-Nabawiyya is one of the famous works of Ibn Taymiyyah. He wrote this book as a refutation to Allama al-Hilli's book. Allama al-Hilli's book, Minhajul Karama. Allama al-Hilli is a famous scholar in the school of Ahlul Bayt. So he said, Ibn Taymiyyah said, and likewise Malik said, Malik ibn Anas, the Imam of the Maliki Madhab, that it is disliked, makruh, to prostrate on anything other than the substance of the earth. Inna sujud yakrahu ala ghayri jinsil ard. It is makruh. And the Rafida, a term which is usually used for those who follow the school of Ahlul Bayt. And the Rafida are blamed for refusing to prostrate on anything other than the earth. وَالرَّافِدَ يَمْنَعُونَ مِنَ السُّجُودِ عَلَى غَيْرِ الْأَرْضِ. We mentioned previously that a minority among the Muslims, around 400 million, insist on prostrating on the earth, on these tablets. Now today the Malikis want us to pray. The Malikis want us all to pray on prayer rugs, on the carpets, when their Imam themselves or himself considered it makruh. Why is it so? Why is it so that the sign of being religious, the sign of being religious is a prayer rug? This is nothing but a bid'ah. With all due respect to all the denominations, but we're talking about what is bid'ah and what is sunnah, and we have respect to all denominations, to all the brothers and sisters. But this is the bid'ah according to the books that we have gone through, that the Prophet, the companion, the Tabi'un, Malik ibn Anas, Ibn Taymiyyah in his book, they all verify that the early Muslims, the Salaf, would do sajda on earth. So why do some people persist? And we have fights in the different mosques because of this, because of this. The least thing you could do is to say that, well, you have your belief, I have my belief, and I don't want to prostrate on the tablet. But why fights? Why do we do takfir? Why do we call each other for disbeliever? Sometimes they throw a person out of the mosque and they refuse the person to pray in that mosque. Why? Because of a piece of stone. Why this persistence and this contradiction when we have seen what the sunnah is? So this is the sunnah of the Prophet and the companions. So everyone should answer this question, you and me, is this the sunnah to pray on the earth, or is the sunnah of the Prophet to pray on carpets, on rugs, on mats? So this has reached a point that people get criticized if someone doesn't pray on a rug. They say, why don't you pray on a rug? Is it as if the prayer depends on a rug? By Allah, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam prayed on dirt. He prayed on the soil, on the earth. By dirt I mean the soil, the earth, not something filthy. He prayed on pebbles, on stones. And likewise did Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam. Likewise did Abu Bakr, Umar and Uthman ibn Affan. All the companions did the same. So where did this idea come from? This is a modern innovation and luxuries which has led to division among Muslims. It has led to ikhtilaf, divisions among Muslims. You see some people putting down a rug while others don't. Some people fighting each other in the mosque. One person turns around and says, why do you bring this piece of clay tablet to our mosque? Leave our masjid. We also have so-called sheikhs, so-called scholars who deny all of these. They deny that the Prophet prayed on or did prostration on sand, on earth. They go to that level that they consider the prayer invalid if it is prayed in the mosque where you have these clay tablets. Basically the mosques of the Rafidah, the mosques of those who follow the school of Ahlul Bayt. They considered it invalid. These are the so-called shuyukhs. You're not even allowed to pray in such a masjid. So to conclude, at the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there were no fancy carpets as today, and he, together with the Sahaba, the Tabi'un after him, would pray on earth, on pure earth. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.